Hey book lovers, Victoria here and you're watching My Books and Me. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the books that I read during March. March was a really good reading month for me. I finally managed to pull out of my reading slump, which was both good and bad. Good because I had to read for university, so it was good that I actually wanted to read. Bad because I actually had to read for university and couldn't read the books that I was really tempted to read. But anyway, I managed to finish 4 books, which is a big improvement on the one that I read in February, and I have a good TBR to show you guys later as well, so let's get into it. The first book I read this month was the amazing book Is Not on Fire, The World of Dan and Phil by Dan Howell and Phil Lester. I actually did a full non-spoiler review on this book if you are interested in knowing a little bit more, but it is essentially a scrapbook, memoir kind of thing, and it is just filled with all sorts of Dan and Phil goodness and randomness. So if you're a fan, definitely go check it out. I think I gave this 4.5 or 5 stars. I can't quite remember, I'm sorry. The next book I read this month was a graphic novel, and that is The Fade Out Act 1 by Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips and colorist Elizabeth Brutweiser. This is a noir type graphic novel set around the set, the film set of a noir film in Hollywood during 1948. It is the era of the Hollywood blacklist, McCarthyism and the Red Scare, so a lot of people are, losing jobs because of being outed as communists, and the studios are all sort of crumbling, and we follow our main character, Charlie Parrish, who is the screenwriter on this film, and this film, he knows it all too well. This film is absolutely shit, but the director is adamant that it is a great film and they want to get it done by the time the studio collapses under this McCarthyism. However, the main starlet of the movie is found dead. Charlie finds her but doesn't know what on earth has happened in the hours since he left a party. He literally has no memory other than waking up in this house with this dead movie star. So he doesn't tell anyone, and the next day he discovers that her death has been covered up as a suicide because someone on the inside of Hollywood has actually obviously murdered her, and Charlie sort of starts to realize that maybe someone who is working on the film is behind her death. So it's all very mysterious, all intriguing. There are a lot of lies, there is a lot of everything. It is really good. I love the art style in this book. It's very 40s, very noir-y, and I just really enjoyed it. I didn't expect to enjoy this as much as I did because I don't really get into the noir type genre, but this was really interesting and I can't wait to pick up the final 2 acts. This is a 3-act series, so it is complete if you do want to start it. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read this month was one that I had actually started a couple of months ago, but I just didn't finish it, and I started it again because it's not even that long, and I finally finished it, which I'm really glad, and that is The Power of Three by Eliza Willard, the first book in the Charmed novelization series. For those of you who don't know, the TV series Charmed, while it was being released, they released novelizations throughout the time, and this first book is actually just based off the first episode. The rest of the books in the 41 book series, except for one of them, are brand new stories. But this one is obviously, like I said, based off the first episode. So it's really kind of it's really hard to sort of just judge this book because it is based off the episode, but there were definitely a lot of bonuses in this book. For example, we got to see what happened to Phoebe when she read the Book of Shadows during the night after, while everyone was asleep, she got up and she read the Book of Shadows. I found that to be really interesting. There are definitely some extra little bonuses. We get to see every single character's perspective, or the 3 main sisters' perspectives, how they're feeling. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend it to Charmed fans, and I can't wait to read the rest of the books in this series. Definitely recommended. The final book that I read this month was one of my university books. I should have actually finished the other one as well, but shh. And that was Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I actually listened to the audiobook for this one, and the audiobook I had, the narrator was so perfect. I really enjoyed it, and I will leave in the description below who the narrator was for this book if you are interested in listening to that audiobook. I really enjoyed this story for the most part. We follow Catherine Morland, who goes to stay in Bath with some family friends for 6 weeks, where she goes to the tea rooms, she goes to dances, to the theatre, just a very little social butterfly, and she ends up meeting a lot of different people. The first person she meets, well, the first group of people she meets are the Thorpes. Isabella, John, who are actually friends with her brother. And John Thorpe kind of becomes infatuated with Catherine, but she does not like him in the slightest. And I have to be honest, I hated John Thorpe. He was a right asshole. But yeah, then she also meets the Tilneys, and I'm pretty sure his name was William and Eliza. I really can't remember. But she meets the Tilneys, and she likes them a lot more. She's actually fancies Mr. Tilney, I'm pretty sure is William. Seriously, I can't remember a lot of names. And she ends up being invited to their grand house, Northanger Abbey. And while there, her imagination kind of runs wild on her, and she sort of has these weird, or sort of out of place, misplaced thoughts and beliefs about the Abbey and the people within the Abbey. And she kind of gets embarrassed when William Tilney finds out, and then it ends really nicely. I don't really want to spoil the ending. I really enjoyed this. Like I said, the only problem I had with it was the fact that we spent only a quarter of the book actually at Northanger Abbey. We didn't get any mention of Northanger Abbey for the first half of the book. This book is in 2 parts. So for the entire first part of the book, we never got any mention of Northanger Abbey, and then we only spent probably 5 chapters there. And I kind of felt cheated. This book is called Northanger Abbey. We didn't spend a lot of time there. Catherine's time at Northanger Abbey was, I do have to admit, slightly boring. I definitely enjoyed the first part of the book more, where she was at Bath and it was just a lot of different people, and it was just, I don't know, I found it more interesting than being at Northanger Abbey, and I was kind of disappointed at how Northanger Abbey, the part about Northanger Abbey turned out. But overall, I really enjoyed the book, and I think I gave it 3.5 or 4 stars. I can't quite remember, but it was enjoyable, and I definitely recommend. This is actually a good first book for Jane Austen, because it is her shortest book. It was easy to read, and I can't wait to read some more Jane Austen later in the year. So they are the 4 books that I managed to finish this month. Kind of disappointed that I didn't finish my other university book, but I am going to be finishing that literally today or tomorrow, so it won't matter. You will see that in my April wrap up. But I'm really happy that I read these books. They were all really great reads, and they all pulled me out of a reading slump, which is really great. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm just letting you know also that there are social links in the description below, but I am also now on Snapchat, mybooksareme. I don't know how much I'm going to be Snapchatting, but you know, I might share some of my reading progress throughout the month. So if you have Snapchat, definitely go follow me. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later today with my TBR. 2 videos today, guys. Get excited. I'll see you guys then. Bye. I think that I would open it. It's very 40s to it. Very dark. No worry. So I just really enjoyed it. First thing is the card. We'll talk about this more in my wrap up.